What's up, everybody? This your boy C Hub.
And it's your boy Big Struggle. This is Brotherhood the podcast. Welcome to our safe space. Yes, sir. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, a new day, a new life, a new beginning, bro. I'm blessed. How are you?
Man, I'm good, brother. Practice just started for y'all, man. It's time.
Tell me about it. Hey, it is time, man. Fun time, bro. Just watching everything coming to work. So, this just one day in the books, and another day, another dollar to showcase tomorrow. So, man, I'm excited, but I'm more excited about today, man.
Yes,
about
sir.
Today. And then
Yes.
even last week, we could touch back on last week, man. Like, bro, we had Shamarco in the building, bro.
Last week was dope, bro. Last week was dope, man. We touched on a lot. Even when we talked about relationships, you know what I mean? Inviting our significant other into our safe space so that communication piece doesn't break up. I think that was extremely important.
Very much so important, man, because if you don't have that communication in your household, man, it's liable to break everything down. The lack on both ends kind of like are heavy, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those, when you're on the same page and being able to communicate, all things run smoothly, man. Like it really does show a difference in your marriage or your relationship, period, or even friendship too. That goes a long way into as well.
Facts.
So,
Facts. That's real.
Don't shy away from communication. That's one of probably the biggest things ever in life, as far as your friendship, relationship goes, marriage, whatever it may be. But yeah, we had some exciting times last week, man. But this week, man, I'm excited for our guest today.
Let's not waste no more time. We got brother Yosef, aka New Life Tools, coming on to bless us today, man. Hey, how you doing, man?
Peace, family. Peace.
What's
Yes,
up, man?
sir.
Glad to be here.
We are honored to have you here, and I always start off each show with just giving roses. As black men, we gotta be able to just give each other our roses before it's our time to go away. So I want to let you know, man, I appreciate you for number one, educating. It's important to really stand on what you stand on and educate and bring people along with you. And your message is amazing. I think anybody, no matter what they believe or what they feel, I think they can gain something from your knowledge. So I just want to give you your roses ahead of time, brother.
I hope you come on here, man. You bless this Brotherhood the podcast, man. We appreciate you, your time, your efforts, and working with the community to continue to, be better in life, man, because it's not about what you do today. It's constantly growing each day, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're constantly evolving. So I appreciate you for doing that, man. You're doing great things. And I can't wait to know more about you.
So my name is Brother Yosef. I also go the name Nawadi Awi, which is my tribal name. Okay. And I have been studying metaphysics for the past 15 years. And I'm also a person who was in the process of building a nation where we don't have to ask for anything. We can do it ourselves. So we're doing all this stuff right now, and we're just bringing the community together on it. So that's kind of what I do. I go by many names, many titles, but I'm Brother Yosef, and I pretty much bring metaphysics into the world. I present it to the world. That's kind of what I do. So
absolutely. Man, something you said hit me, and I want to jump into that. As a black community, how important is it for us to be self-sufficient? It's a lot of times we grow up in the worst of the worst situations and we become dependent on the government, dependent on different things. How important is it for us to really become self-sufficient so that, we can build as a community and as a nation?
I think that it is the most important thing that we can do because we have lost our way as a people. Mm-hmm. Without a shadow of a doubt, we forgot who we were, and we were the original everything. And I'm grateful for Black Wall Street that we built, but that was one level of our greatness. And right now, more than anything, we need to come together and stay together and get it ourselves. We don't need handouts. We need to do it ourselves, and that's what I want to get into people's minds. So it is extremely important that us as a community come together under any title that we want to come together under, because we even got to understand the term Black was a term that was given to us. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm brown, I'm but I understand what people mean when they say Black, right?
Right. Right.
I chose the title indigenous only because that without a shadow of a doubt, we are the Aboriginal people all over the planet. You know, so that's kind of what I want to bring back to the world and say, hey, we don't have to just be in America. Internationally, we can all come together as a people and be self-sufficient and be strong and be together.
That's real. That's real.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that we need to do, man. We always talk about like, you know, how powerful we can be if we all just stick together, how we can all just work together. Like we can take streams to the next level, man. Like when we do those things, because we're beautiful, smart, Black, beautiful people, and on this earth, and a lot of stuff was taken away from us and misled, mishanded. So we don't necessarily get our roses that we should get, but we always take that back burner when we should be in the forefront.
Over time, hope has been stripped from us in some form or another, right? And Black Wall Street isn't taught in schools. I didn't know anything about Black Wall Street until after I got out of college, and I just was like, what is this? This existed. So can you explain kind of what Black Wall Street was?
Absolutely. Black Wall Street was the city or town, some people call it, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where people who look like us came together, got their resources together, and they built their own community. They had airports, they had doctors, they had you name it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they all got together and built their own thing. Now, through research, one of the things I found out was that one of the main reasons why they got so successful was that they were actually doing trade with the Native Americans in the area. So a lot of European people were coming to the area and say, how are they getting, you know, what's all this? Like, how are they were doing trades with people that had resources already, copper, they had oil,
Right.
copper, they already had farmland. So they were getting food. And so they would see people going into these other parts of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there were a lot of Europeans and so-called black people had fur jackets on, the fur coats, and they was millionaires that owned airplanes, and they was like, how was these people getting it? So that's who we were in the early 1920s. And there was actually more than one Black Wall Street. It was just destroyed over a lie. Right. So we need to have our own army. We need to have our own military. We need to have our own everything. Yeah. So this could never happen again. We need to learn from the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings and the Khalid Muhammad's and Malachi Z. Yorks, and you name it. I can go down the line. A lot of people that were great and did great things that we forget about, we don't know about, and we can do these things again. We just have to learn from our ancestors.
It got heavy quick, you know what I mean? Especially when we talk about us. You know, you talk about Black Wall Street and how we were together and how we created a way where even if we had a little bit of something, if we put it together, we can have a lot of something. Where did that fall off? You know what I mean? Like where did we lose sight of that vision?
Yeah, oh man, that's it was so many different areas, you know. And I love my people more than anything, right? But we have an identity crisis for sure. And we also have a mental crisis because it's like one of the in the coffin text in Egypt, there was a prophecy that said, out of the West I will call my children. This is written thousands of years ago. Right. Out of the West. So America wasn't even around yet. These people's already writing about the West.
Yeah.
Out of the West I will call my children. Even though their bodies will look Egyptian, their mind will be of another race. So they knew, the Egyptians knew that they was going to fall asleep, and they knew that eventually in the future, there's going to be a group of us over there that was going to eventually lose sight of who we are. We're going to forget who we are. Even though we look like Egyptians, our mind was, we have a mental problem. We had a mental health issue. You know what I'm saying? Right. We forgot who we were. And I love Tulsa, Oklahoma. I actually have a picture in my room right now of it. And even y'all probably heard of the Chicago picture. What is it called? Something Sunday. Sunday's Best. I love stuff like that where Black people look successful, and we can definitely get back to that.
That's deep, man.
Yeah.
We get so lost, bro. Like we get so lost in like trying to find a way out and trying to find, you know, different things to help us cope with certain things that we struggle with. You know what I'm saying? And we lose sight on what's important, man. And without that mindset, without that mental, man, you can't really go on like you think you can. You could try to tough it out as much as you can, but at the same time, it's still gonna be a downfall because that mind is not as strong as you think it is. So we all need some kind of help, man. And if you don't reach out for help, then I feel like you're weak as a person. You know what I mean?
Hopefully my mama don't see this, but you know, I had the pistol to my head. I'm gonna blow my brains out at 22 years old.
Wow.
Because I really didn't believe that I had a purpose in life.
Right.
I really believed I was a mistake, and this was the dark forces in my head kind of trying to convince me of this stuff.
I want you to take us to that period of 22. You know what I mean? Suicidal, kind of trying to find your way, and then lead us to the spiritual path you on today and how it began and just the journey, man. We want to know the journey.
So, you know, I grew up in a household where I love my mother and my father, but my father was, you know, he was in the streets, you know, and I'm a junior. I'm named after my father, but I'm not just like my father, you know, but I love my father, right? Mm-hmm. And my father was in the streets heavy. So since the age of 3, he was in and out of prison, in and out of jail, in and out of prison. So you know what that does to a young boy. You don't got your father and all that stuff. I'm supposed to be a statistic, right? That's just how I'm supposed to be. Now, my mother and father together has 4 boys all together. So I grew up in a household where from a young age is Christianity. And I'm still to this day grateful for Christianity. Mm-hmm. It taught me how to be I learned a lot about being a man in Christianity, right? Mm-hmm. Even though my mind eventually went somewhere else. So I have nothing against Christianity. But I was raised in a Christian household, Pentecostal, extremely strict. Everything was the devil. Everything was the devil. You understand? You couldn't watch The Simpsons. You couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Can't drink water at a certain time. Everything was the devil. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I grew up in that type of household. So fear was put into me at a young age.
Absolutely.
Do this, do that. So I would say around the age of, 16, I started to notice that I would just feel, for some reason, be down. It could be a beautiful sunny day out. At 16 years old, I don't know why I feel bad, right? Mm-hmm. And at this time, my father was in prison, and my stepdad came into our life, and actually came a little earlier, but I wasn't used to a man telling me what to do. So long story short, me and him bumped heads a lot. Eventually, 18 years old, mama said, you got to go. You know, you do what you do. Around 18 years old, my uncle Bill, God bless his soul, he came into my life and taught me how to be a man. He taught me, like, Yosef, you're extremely intelligent. You got something to give to the world, but you got to get your mind right. So he taught me the basics about being a good man. I really believe the type of man I am today is based off of him. He started that, right? So long story short, I move out, go on my own. I'm still dealing with this depression. I'm fighting myself. And I'm like, what is wrong? I didn't even know what depression was.
Right.
I just would get this extreme sense of worthlessness for no reason. To the point where, like I said, beautiful day, I'm sad. I'm down. To the point where I started to hate myself, you know? I'm hiding it, though. I'm hiding it. And I think a lot of people in religious circles hide the fact that they're dealing with something on the inside. So here I am. I'm getting ready to become a minister. I was doing a little bit of ministry, and I'm struggling with suicide. I'm struggling with taking myself out because I'm seeking God, but I don't get no answer, right? Take this thing out of me. This hurt, right? Yeah. This hurt. At the time, at 22 years old, I met my wife. Right. So we dating, and I'm not telling her I'm dealing with depression. Some nights she called me to get up the phone. I'm thinking about blowing my brains out. Right. I'm 22. Like, so I'll never forget. I got this letter in the mail, and this is where it gets weird, y'all. It's going to go to, but this is all 100% facts. My mother's the witness to this.
Absolutely. 22
years old. I got a letter in the mail from a so-called secret society. These people scared me because they knew everything about me. And they told me that, Yosef, we've been watching you since the day. Well, my real name's Joseph. They said, Joseph, we've been watching you since the day you were born. You're very special. And we want to help you bring out your talents. And I'm like, what? So I showed my mother the letter. Of course, mama said, it's a devil. You know, they trying to get you with satanic witchcraft, you know? And I'm like, you're right, mama. That's right.
That's right.
I got to throw this away. Right? So I was scared to death. You know, once again, fear, shot the letter away. About 3 weeks later, they same people sent me the same letter, and this time they sent a booklet. And they said, hey, if you don't believe us, just read the title of every chapter of this book, You Had the Power to Get Money. I'm like, what? So I showed mom, I said, Mama, they hit me again. They back, When I read the title of every chapter, and the first time in my life I played the lottery, I won $700. Wow. First time stretch off. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. But these people are telling me, hey, you're going to be a metaphysical teacher. You're going to be leading people. You're going to be doing this. And we want to help you. But really what it was, now that I understand, they want to bring me in and control me to a certain extent.
Right.
So I'm still a Christian at the time. I throw that away. Fast forward, we get to 2006. I'm sleeping in my mother's room, right? Sleeping in my mother's attic. I'm getting ready to get married. So I moved out of my apartment and saved money for my wedding. And all of a sudden, I'm sleeping in my mother's room. I open my eyes and I'm standing up. When I'm standing, I don't think I ever told this story in full like this before, but I'll tell y'all the story. So when I'm standing up, I open my eyes. I'm like, why am I? First time I had what they call an OBE, an outer body experience.
Wow.
So I'm standing outside my body and I turn around, I look and I see myself laying in the bed. I said, oh my God, I'm dead, you know?
Right.
And I'm trying to walk back to my body, but there's literally like a bubble or something that was like pushing me where I couldn't get back to my body. I'm like, well, I was a good Christian, so I'm going to heaven. I ain't got nothing to worry about, you know?
Right.
So I turn around, look at the window. I feel something pulling me. I go to the window. I look out my mother's window, which was always facing, I could always see the sunrise in the attic. And I see what looks like a circular rainbow flying around near the sun. This thing comes up to my window, and I see a man sitting inside of this circular rainbow, and he is smiling at me. And he's like tapping his leg. I'm like, he looks like a man from India, right? He's got on all white gold sandals. Well, I'm looking at him. He disappears off the chair. The chair disappears. He appears in my house with his hands behind his back. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, who is this? So I was like, should I get on my knees? Like, I didn't know Jesus was an Indian. Like, I don't understand, like, what's going on. So this man looks at me, and he says these words. This is what changed my life, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't studying metaphysics. This is what happened to me. The man looked at me, and he said, come here, son. And when he said those words, it spoke to something inside of me. It was like, oh yeah, Dad. And when he said those words, I immediately started bawling, crying. And I went to go touch his hand. And when I touched his hand, I flew back into my body.
Wow.
From that day forward, I was absolutely obsessed with knowledge. I had this burning desire to search for truth,
Right.
to the point where it led me away from Christianity.
Yeah.
It led me away from Christianity. Now, this last thing here, once I started leaving Christianity, I would say around 2009, I was studying. I left the church in 2009, and I was still dealing with depression. Right. So I'm reading books, I'm getting information, but it's not as bad because I found something finally in my life that made me happy, like information I didn't even know. Right. So I'm studying, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of this depression. Like, what's going on? It's like something heard me say it, and I went to a bookstore called Borders. It used to be around back in the day.
Yeah, we have Borders here.
I love Borders, right?
Yeah,
It was a book sticking out called Spiritual Growth by Sanaya Roman. I picked that book up, pulled it out, bought it, took it home, and she taught techniques in there how to transform emotions. And I'm like, what? You can change your emotion? Is that possible? Like, nobody can do that. So I was reading a book, and I never forget me and my wife going to Walmart one day, and once again it hit me, depression. It's a beautiful day. I'm just want to kill myself, right? Just bad. So I said, let me try this technique that this lady was saying. I tried the technique, and immediately, as I would say 35 seconds into it, I start to feel a change of emotion. So that really blew my mind because nothing ever helped me before overcome my emotion. Yeah. So I started trying all the techniques to the point where depression went down to once a week, once a month. Then it just totally just left my life. Wow. Depression was gone to the point where I was so good at turning on a positive emotion until the depression just left me. It just left my life forever. So this is something I tell people to do who's dealing with anxiety and depression. I say, go get the book by Sanaya Roman. This book is incredible. It will teach you how to transmute and transform your emotion from negative to positive. And that's what kind of helped me get free of my depression.
Speak on the power of love, because like you said, it's a lot deeper than just saying like I love you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that word gets thrown around so much, and it ends up hurting more people than it's supposed to. You know what I mean? We turn love and hate like it's the same emotion. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like how powerful is love when you talk about on a person to person basis, like to be able to really feel what love is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Love is so hard because love is so powerful. You don't even know when you got it. Right. You just notice it one day. I think I love this person. Mm-hmm. Well, when did it happen? What time did it happen? And what moment did it happen? I don't know. It just was there one day. And that's why I tell people love is actually a real entity. It's conscious of itself. I believe love picks people to be in this experiment they call love. Mm-hmm. And I think love chooses people to be in the experiment of love. and they takes you through relationships and stuff to see if you're worthy of this true love, of this thing it wants to give you, which I believe comes from the Creator itself.
Love is tricky.
Now, and if I could say this too, love is sacrifice also.
Mm.
Love is sacrifice.
Talk
If
to
you
him.
not, Ja Rule had an album called Pain is Love.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, and I was like, man, that's kind of deep because pain is suffering. It is, you're sacrificing, right? And if you love somebody, and that's where the growth part comes in. Love could make you kill somebody. It could make you heal somebody. It could make you take care of something. It could make you do all kind of, it could make you lose your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It can make you lose your mind. Even the regular form, earth love, when a person think they love you, they can lose their mind.
I've been married a month at this point.
Okay.
And I've watched, I've watched my life transform even before I even, asked her to marry me. I honestly say that I knew I was gonna marry her when I met her. And it wasn't, I mean, she's beautiful, but when she started talking, I knew she had what I was looking for. And then literally, I couldn't make this up. My life started, bro. No, I struggled. I was paycheck to paycheck for a long time. I wasn't happy with myself, and all of that just started to grow and build. You know what I mean? So what do we need to know?
I would say the number one thing is patience.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to learn how to be patient with your significant other, because that's what growth is all about. Just like a child, they break stuff, they color on the wall, they make mistakes, but you got to be patient with this child and give this child a time to grow. Not to compare a child to a woman, but I'm just saying is like you got to give things that, like, even when you're planting a seed in the ground, you got to be patient with this thing. Eventually this thing will grow. Now I use that example too as for love. Love is like planting a seed. You water it, you take your time with it. Eventually that seed grows up and it helps you evolve. It gives you nutrients and food and everything like that. So in marriage, the number one thing I would say is be patient.
They didn't say patience is a virtue for no reason.
Right.
I'll be honest.
And I say men more. The brothers got to have patience.
Right.
Because men gotta have patience. Because let's be honest, now a woman, well, it's hard. A man will say, "I'm done with this relationship. I'm gone." We'll be gone quick. A woman, they chase black men. They want to be with a black man, But the brothers, a lot of times we move on and say, "No, I'm going with somebody else. I'm tired of you. I can't stand you." But the truth is, she is exactly what you need. Because the reason why a lot of women put pressure on a man, she's forcing you to become what you're supposed to become. So in Egypt, the woman was the law. She was law. So that's why when you saw Isis, you wrote a throne. Her name was a throne. She was a seat of the power. But her son, the man or her husband, was the enforcer of that power.
Right.
That's where that comes from.
Man, hey, look, you pinned me on game about this, like the whole being like I'm relearning who I am again, because after my divorce I was lost. You know what I'm saying? Like I was lost in trying to find out what is it that I struggled with that made it to get to where it is. You know what I'm saying? So like hearing you speak and it's shedding so much light on how to move correctly now. You know what I mean? And because this is a new me. Basically, I'm basically reborn again now. Because that's just what it is. They always say a divorce feels like death, and I believe it has been, because I've had moments of transformation where I was sad, I was angry, I was lonely, and still just trying to evolve into the person that I am today. Like I appreciate you, man, because like a lot of people don't hear that. A lot of people, like you said, a lot of people so easy to be done with the situation and just move on. You know what I'm saying? That's the easy route. But the better route is to focus on yourself and work through yourself and work on those emotions, because you don't want that to carry over into another situation. And that's gonna be another broken marriage. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to grow within yourself. So man, you are doing an amazing thing, brother, man. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Giving that tip to both of us, because bro, you know, and bro just got married 1 month, man, and like, you know, this is amazing for him, and this is amazing on my journey, you know.
Absolutely.
And I, since, like I said, since I've met her, she showed me your videos. A lot of times, I don't want to say like a lot, like it was just higher level to me. And one thing I've realized about black men, bro, is like we mask trauma with chasing money. You feel what I'm saying? We mask pain with chasing money. And for me, when she was trying to open me up to that, I think I was more resistant because I was so focused on the money, so focused on the grind. It was like my mind is focused on this right now. I can't even accept. And as we've grown together, it's really open. Even just having you on here, like you said so much, and me and bro are people like, if we hear something that resonates, we're going to transform it into our life, our daily lives. Like we just, I couldn't sit here and say, I listened to you drop all these jewels and I woke up tomorrow and didn't try to put something you've said into play or into motion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how we operate. And so, yeah, I think it's extremely important and even having you on here and I know this is probably just scratching the surface for however many things, but I do want to ask, like, because we are, like bro said, he's reborn, and I, in a sense, I feel reborn because I feel refreshed. All the pain that I've been through, even with past relationships and things that I've gone through, it's kind of flushing out of me. I'm growing and healing. When we speak about chakras and how important it is to align the body, speak on that a little bit for us, because I know the head gotta match the heart gotta, we move as together, and if one is off, then our alignment can be off.
And metaphysics, there's different schools in metaphysics where some people focus on the mind, body, and soul. Some people focus strictly on the spirit and the soul, and some people focus directly on the soul. The school that I come from, we focus on the soul mostly, not to deny the body, but the soul, because it is the true you. Right? Even the Bible said that before you was born, I knew you, meaning that you existed as a soul before you was in a human body. So when we break it down, who are you really?
Right.
Man, our ancestors told a man know thyself, you will know God. And the universe, what are they really saying? God is, you are God. You just don't know it.
Right.
It's like I heard Brother Bobby Hemming say, a roach knows a roach, a dog knows a dog, but the black man and woman is the only thing in America that don't know who they are. You a God and you don't even know it. And that's the truth. So the difference between me and other people, I just came to a realization, which is evolution, which is enlightenment, right? Once you truly realize that you are not a body, you are a soul having an experience as a human person, that's when your whole life changed. When you really realize it, not when you say it, not when you think on it, when you come to a point of realization. They talk about the Buddha. The Buddha evolved and turned himself into fire, and his kundalini shot up and he went into the heavens. But he sat under that tree for a long time, right, until he did what? Came to a realization. It's the realization that evolves you in life.
That's something that I've been missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there, but it's like, bro, you got to tap into it. Like you said, bro, it's time to tap in. Yeah, and that's all we ever want to do, is just continue to evolve and grow. And like as black man, and having these conversations, you know what I mean, of educating one another. Like you yourself, you're bringing everybody to the table, man. And you're doing masterful things, bro. Masterful things.
Thank you.
But how do us as black men, how can we stay on the right track?
By knowing self. We doing exactly what our ancestors told us to do. We stay on the right track by knowing ourselves. If you want to be on the right track and you know you God, you can't be on the wrong track.
Hey man, he just set the mics on fire today, boy. I'm telling you.
And
yes, sir.
Up some resources, man. That's what we're doing. We
yes, sir.
Yeah.
And how to reach you. I want people to be able to reach you. I want people to be able to, get consultations if they need it. Yeah. How can we reach you?
Absolutely. So I recommend people reading the book I talk about all the time, Spiritual Growth by Sanaya Roman. That book will change your life. It saved I wrote the lady a letter. It saved my life. Yeah. That's one book. If you're starting out on your spiritual path, you want that book because that's spiritual growth. And if people want to reach me, they can hit me up on New Life Tools, NULYFETOOLS, newlifetools@gmail.com. You can also hit me up at admin, at tpministries.org, or Chief Nawadi Awi, which is my tribal name, CHIEF NEWADIAWI @gmail.com.
Perfect, brother. Perfect, man. Yeah.
And also, you guys can check my website out. Anybody whoever see this, they want to check out my website is TPI Ministries.org. TPministries.org.
Dope. Hey, reach out, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tapped in. I got one last question for you before we get out of here. In 3 words, describe how society typically views Black men. How are those ideas detrimental to Black men and their mental health?
Oh, okay, that's a very good question. I would say ignorant, lazy, and unsuccessful. That's how you look at us. We ignorant, we lazy, and we unsuccessful, which none of them is true.
Right.
Just some of us are ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's not who we really are.
Right.
That's not who we really are. We just like that because, like I said, we have a mental problem. They did a number on us, man. We need to be prepared more than anybody. I think this is just my opinion. The worst thing that could happen for Black people is we get reparations because we ain't ready for it.
Right.
Black folk gonna be buying Jordans and Gucci, which is cool, right? We supposed to live our life, but what about creating generational wealth for your babies, for your children?
Absolutely.
We don't think like that.
Yeah.
I predicted, if anybody goes back on my YouTube channel, I predicted that the government was going to give us free money. In 2019, I said, it's coming, y'all. They're going to start giving it to y'all, and they're going to give y'all something called universal basic income. That's exactly what's happening right now. They testing the waters, giving people free money, and then wonder why people don't want to go back to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
Right. They giving it to us, and Black folk, we love handouts. We got to stop that. We got to do for self, build our own, and and we'll be good. So I think those are the 3 things that the world looks at us today. We got to defeat those 3 things right there.
Absolutely.
Sure. I agree.
Brother, thank you for coming and blessing us, man. It's been amazing. Thank you for coming to our safe space. This is Brotherhood the Unveiling. Let's get it.